Hey everyone, how's it going? So now we have the retweets outputting as expected, but the only thing missing is an indication which tells the user that it is a retweet. At the moment we're just showing the whole post again. So let's go back and add that. Now in common.js, in the create post HTML function, we have the username of the user that retweeted it. Now of course you could change this to the name if you want to by using the first and last name, but I'm just going to use username, but it's entirely up to you. But anyway, we have the name of the person who retweeted it. So let's use that. At the bottom, just before we do the return statement, I'm going to say var retweet text equals, and just set it to an empty string for now. And then underneath that, I'm going to say if is retweet, and if it is a retweet, we're going to go ahead and set the name. So we'll just set retweet text to be, and we'll create some HTML. So I'll do a backtick for the string. So backtick and then span like this, and I'll close my span off as well. And the text is going to be retweeted by, and then inside there we're going to put a link around the user's name. So in there we'll do an anchor tag with an href equals, and then I'll close the anchor tag off as well while I'm here, otherwise I'll probably forget. And then inside the anchor tag, we'll put the text as the username. But because it's the username, I'm just going to put an @ in front of it as well, like that. And then inside there, we want the path. Now, where's this link going to go when you click on the user's username? Well, it's going to go to their profile. So we can just put /profile/ and then the name of the person, which is just the username. So now that should say retweeted by and then the username, but the username will be a link to their profile. So if you click it, that's where it will take you. So now retweet text will either be an empty string or it will be this. So let's go ahead and put this into our code. Now this is the case I was talking about, how we're going to have another element above this one. It's this one. So let's put a div right there and then close that div off. So inside this is where we're going to put our retweet text element. So just inject it like this, and the class of this div is just going to be class equals and then post action container. Now this is just going to be the text which tells you whether it was retweeted or not. Now this is just going to be the text which tells you that it was retweeted by this person. So I didn't actually know what to call this. I've noticed I didn't do a single quote on there. So make sure you put your last single quote there. Yeah, I didn't know what the best name for it was, but I settled on post-action container. I couldn't call it like header or something because we're using headers in there. I didn't want to get too many elements with the class header. So yeah, I think post-action container will do us. But now if I refresh the page, you should see something reflecting that it was a retweet, and we don't see posted by. Let me inspect on that. Oh, and I've realized I probably did this wrong. What's wrong with this? Oh, I used the wrong variable. It shouldn't be retweeted by, it should be retweet text. That's my mistake. Stick that in there. Refresh the page now. And now you see retweeted by and then this person. And you can see if I click on that, it will take me to the profile page, which of course we don't have yet. But at the moment, it's good because we have our indications that this is a retweet and who retweeted it. So let's just add a little bit of style to this, just one part, so it won't take too long. Let's just go to our our main.css file, and I'll scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to style that new post action container element. So post action container, and then we're going to say padding left is going to be 35 pixels. Font size is just going to be 13 pixels, so it's a bit smaller. And then finally, color is going to be var -- gray text. So we just essentially pushed this along a little bit this way, and then reduced the font size and changed the color as well. So this is kind of what Twitter does with retweets. The retweeted by text right here is pushed over from the left, so I kind of replicated that. But of course, you're free to play around with these values if you want to change something. Maybe you also want to add some padding on the bottom or margin on the bottom or something. So if I say margin bottom, maybe we can just use the spacing one. Let's see how that looks. So that adds some spacing below. Maybe you want to do that, maybe you don't. or maybe you want to just set some new value instead of var spacing. Maybe you want to use, what does 3 pixels look like? So that's just a little bit, 5 pixels. Okay, maybe I'll leave it like that. So I'll just add a margin bottom of 5 pixels so it's not so stuck to the bottom. Now I guess you could stick an icon in there too, but before we do that, let's just copy this new code. So I've copied the CSS file and let's replace it in here so we don't lose that. But if you wanted to do an icon, you could just stick it in here. I'll press enter and move this onto the line below so it's a bit easier to see. I'll put the span down there too. So we could just stick an icon in here, and we have the icon for the retweet. It's right here. We used it in the button, so I could just take that again and stick it in here. Oops, I'll move that across as well. And then let's see what that looks like. So there we go. We've got a cool little icon now. So maybe you want to do that. But either way, we have a nice indication now that this was a retweet and not their post.